Hello, my name is Jordan Lewis. Welcome to the Re-Evolve Media Revolution podcast, where we interview hip-hop artists from across Canada and try to get some insight into what others are doing right so that we may do right by us. Today's episode features Junk. I mentioned this in the interview, but I'm going to say it again here in the intro. I am amazed how humble Junk is. And this is shortly after his album with Young Stitch charts #1 in the country. I talk to a lot of artists on a weekly basis, and I know everyone is going to be different, but I feel like it's my duty to make clear that you don't lose anything by being humble. And if you did, you probably dodged a bullet. I have mad respect for those who are just good people because they know how that energy moves around and creates the potential for things even unrelated to them to spark. Now, conversely, what energy do we put out when we lack humility? That's pride, bro. There's absolutely nothing wrong with pride or being proud or accepting that you're a 10 out of 10 absolute babe in every single way. But when that energy is projected and it's seen as a dominant personality trait, I think it goes without saying that there are a lot of people who aren't going to resonate with that. In fact, you might just attract the wrong attention. Imagine a group full of dickheads who think they're all king shit claiming its throne. Nah, screw that. We don't need that energy. How about instead we talk about individuals who put in the work, put in the effort, aim to be respected rather than challenged, and even while they are stacking the accolades to their career, still know that they have immense room for improvement. Now, I'm not saying that I don't exhibit the aforementioned faults, but this interview with Junk has inspired me to lean towards humility as well as to respect it more in others. And here's Junk. All right, we're recording. What is up, everybody? I'm here with Junk. Junk, how you doing, brother?
Living good, man. Just won a big pot last night's poker game, so I'm straight.
That's sick, man. You're fairly new to poker, you were telling me as well, right?
10 days in, I'm up 3K, crushing people, all in. Fucking studying strategy, playing online, playing with the boys, bought a $600 poker table, all that shit. We're ready to go.
So is that a thing for you, just coming hot out the gates or what?
Hot out the gates. I'm fixated. I'm fixated on it.
I love that, yeah. Bro. So Junk, my man, born in Langen, Germany. Correct me if I'm saying it wrong.
No, that's good. You're the first person that has said that kind of on point. So word up. Langen. How we say it in Germany, but Langen, yeah. If you're Canadian,
in there.
No, that's good. Respect.
When about that was it when you came to Canada from Langen?
Like 94.
94, okay.
93, 94 is when I came over. I mean, I wasn't living there. I was living in Berlin, Germany at the time. Okay. So I went from Berlin to Canada in 93, 94, something like that.
That's dope, man. And I know it's like ancient times now, but do you remember much of that transition?
Yeah, I remember it well. I mean, lots of it. Well. Yeah, I remember it mad well. Lots of it is peppered, in my music. A lot of the shit, that whole transition is pivotal moment.
Of course,
so
man.
You'll find a lot of it in the music for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. It obviously wasn't the easiest time coming from, there's two different worlds, right?
Two different worlds, different languages, whole new start. Couldn't even speak the language, all that shit. So obviously, for a kid, it's hard. But I adjusted. We're here.
And it was straight to Vancouver?
No, it was Canada. I was Germany, Berlin to BC, but it was the Kootenays, small little place, Nelson, BC. Yeah. A couple little towns around there. It was like bush life, small town life for a while, and then I moved to Vancouver when I was like my late teens to pursue music and
it was a solo
and take it more seriously. Yeah, man.
That's dope, man. Okay, well, I'm interested to hear more about that. But yeah, I got to straight up say thank you for joining us today, man. I know we had that half an hour troubleshooting before we even got recording.
Oh,
yeah, dude, I got to say I'm lucky enough to have heard of you before, even luckier to have got the chance to pour through your content. And just in communicating with you through even DMs and the short conversations we've had, man, I feel blessed to have you here. One of my biggest initial takeaways,
Likewise.
Man. Yeah, of course.
Likewise, blessed. Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate that.
Dude. One of my biggest takeaways initially, man, was I've had artists I've never really heard of before try to size us up or otherwise completely disregard us. And Re-Evolve, are fairly new business, only been alive for less than a year. But, these other artists kind of talking with their chests out. But for you, man, is the humility right away. No shit on anyone else. I understand the different sides of the dice, but really, my G, I'm stoked. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Bro, we can do this over a Zoom call. I'm chilling in my home. Like, you know what I mean? If I can share a couple details and maybe convert somebody into checking my stuff out, one person's good enough for me, man. I ain't big enough. I'll never, you know what I mean? Yeah, man. It's COVID, bro. I'm trying to just get out there. If one person listens to the shit, I'm happy. You know what I mean?
See, dude, that's what I'm talking about. That's like humble as fuck, because I've heard about you before, man. And like I said, I'm blessed to have poured through your content because, oh man, you've been around for a minute and you've been putting in work since the beginning. Like, again, hot out the gates, just like the poker shit.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, when I'm fixated on something, I do it. I go all in, literally.
My earliest trace back I can do for you though is around what is it? Let's see. I got you in 2011. You got MTV's End of the Week contest.
Yep.
That's the earliest I could trace you back. But you don't come out the gate. I can't say you probably came out the gates winning that contest. You probably had a long history before that of freestyling and battle rapping.
Yeah. Open mics, high school parties, hosting grad parties, rapping in parking lots, freestyle battles, open mic nights, all that stuff, man. So yeah, there was a long progression. Obviously, before that.
How many years before the 2011 victory would you say you were kind of heavy in the scene?
I don't know. I'd say like 2005, 2006. I was still living in Nelson, but I was doing like hosting. I was like 15, 16, hosting open mic nights at a nightclub, you know, where I wasn't even allowed to be in, but I was hosting the nights there. And then recording, you know, chilling with the homies, recording on Cool Edit back and then doing a lot of recording and writing. And just like burning discs and just giving them to people, burnt discs, and just getting my shit out there in Nelson. I kind of reached a pinnacle quick there. And then I moved to Vancouver and started entering freestyle rap competitions and started winning them a lot. And then King of the Dot came around. I entered that, started winning in there, went to Toronto, battled there. And like amidst all that, I entered this End of the Week competition, won the provincials in BC. They flew me out to Toronto, won the nationals. And 2 days later, they flew me to Paris. Dude. Took third in the world there, came back. That really helped with credibility. And then I formed a new group, Northwest Division, with my guy Hungry. And then we started making albums, music, and getting onto big open local shows. Then we started touring a little bit. And then, And then Stealth Bomb came into the thing. And I kind of stepped up a bit because my homie had a son. And he was like, I can't really tour. So then I did a solo album, Ian, 2016. Blah, 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 blah. Snack signed me, Stealth Bomb. Then I started touring with Snack and Merc and Onyx in Europe and across Canada. And then things really started percolating and becoming a bit more serious. In 2016, I say things really started like popping more for me, you know? Yeah. It's been the last, I've been at it a long time, but since 2016, since I dropped that Ian album, I did other shit before that, you know what I mean? Shows and tours, big shows too, like playing at big theaters here in Vancouver. Locally, made a name for myself here, like as one of the elite kind of like local acts. Yeah. Then in 2016, the cult scene. Yeah, but then in 2016, I really took it like overseas to Europe, and thanks to Snack and shit. So 2016 is when I kind of just started being on the map a little more across the country and in Europe and in other pockets of the world a bit here and there. So.
That's amazing, man. Yo, you just answered like 30% of the questions I had going for you. But no, that's amazing, dude. We've hit pretty much the last 10 years of your life right there.
Hey, man. I mean, fuck, we don't have that much time, so I motor mouth it and just try to get it all out.
Oh, dude, that's perfect. You're making my life a hell of a lot easier. Trust me. We'll touch notes on each one of those points. Word. Well. Yeah. Going back as well though to 2012, 2011, those days where you were first kicking it with Northwest Division. You created that group. What was the inspiration behind getting together with it? It was you, Hungry, G-Box, and Catch from the get-go, right?
Yeah, G-Box was just like the DJ for us, you know what I mean? Okay. He was like a touring DJ, but he was originally part of
But anyway, an in-house DJ.
Yeah, in-house DJ, still household member, beatboxer, DJ, producer, that's the homie. The inspiration was me and Hungry. Like when I first come to Vancouver, there's all these little rap cliques and whatnot. Mean Offenders, Animal Crackers, Household kind of thing was a thing. And then I came and I kind of like was just friended into that group of people. But I was like the outsider of that group. So I ended up battling Hungry in the first King of the Dot battle in Vancouver division ever. And I took the W that day. But after that day, it was all like, trying to get dirt on one another and just like battling each other. But after that, we actually to this day, we're like, one of my best friends in the world. So shortly after that, a year after that, we just started, we were supposed to do a 2-on-2 together. We teamed up to battle someone else, but they dropped out. Yeah. But little side note, that someone else who dropped out was Young Stitch, which is funny. So we'll get to that later. But that's funny. So it's like, it's through battle rap and King of the Dot that I like made some crazy connections with my opponents and turned it into.
This is 10 years ago we're talking about right now.
10 years ago. Yeah.
Damn, dude.
So I met like Hungry through battling, basically. We had like beef. And then we just became homies because we're like, we let it, get past us or whatever. And then we try to team up for a 2-on-2. Actually, we did a 2-on-2, and then we were supposed to do another one, but it was Payday and Young Stitch. Fast forward 10 later, me and Young Stitch have this. We'll get to that later, but that's just funny. So it's like, I met Hungry like that, and then so we made a group, Northwest Division. He came up with the name. It was we played the whole hockey spinoff. We were in the Vancouver's in the Northwest Division. We took that logo, we changed the words, blah blah blah. So. The inspiration was just literally came from a battle, and then we became homies and made a group, and we're about to put out a new album actually next month. First one in 5 years. We have 3 albums and 3 EPs already under our belts. But so that's the Northwest Division.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we're dropping one next May. Or like this May coming up. We're shooting a video next week and getting the singles together and whatnot. So that'll be coming out.
And being signed to a label doesn't hinder your ability to perform outside of it at all?
No, not at all. Not the contract. That's the beauty of being independent. Like Snack's so cool. I was just like, yeah. He's like, well, the contract was for the Lions and Goats album with Young Stitch. And, and public perception, I'm there repping the team everywhere I go. But like Northwest Division thing is separate of Stealth Bomb Records. It's not going to be a SBR release, but I can move in whatever, way that I want to. That's the beauty of a lot of freedom. I have all the freedom in the world to do whatever I want.
That's a misconception that I have about, I'm sure a lot of artists have about being associated with a label, especially to the degree that I've seen you work with Stealth Bomb Records.
Yeah, I mean, it's not fucking Universal or Warner. You know what I mean? The restrictions are a lot different there. You got to, okay, your next 5 albums, they're ours. Or whatever the deal may be. This is like, a lot of freedom. That's the beauty of being an independent artist, bro. You can just like, if you can navigate through shit yourself and do whatever you want. In the long run, you might not have the machine behind you and the like mainstream push, but in the long run, you might actually make more money than someone on a 5-year run because everything is you and your freedom, and you don't lose any fucking, percentages. Yeah, so it's nice.
In a sense, it's just kind of like a harder climb then.
It's a harder climb, but I think it sets you up for the future proper. I'm not saying that if I wasn't signed to Warner,
your muscles from it.
But I mean, that's just what I'm on. I've been on my independent grind, and I'm going to continue to do so, man.
That's fine. Man. Yeah. I dig it. I got you to. I need you to clear up a misconception as well for me. You said in terms of battle rapping that you had to dig up dirt on the guys, and I was recently talking to someone about battle rapping, and I guess this was a misconception that I had. Is a lot of battle rapping pre-written, or is it off the dome?
Well, in King of the Dot, it's a written battle league, right? Like URL and Smack, yeah, all that shit. Those are written battle leagues. So people, they'll hit you up. Let's say the organizer of the event will be like, "Yo, Junk, do you want to battle whatever X?" Right? This dude, I'll say sure. Then they hit up that dude. "Yo, homie, do you want to battle Junk?" Sure. Okay, the date is December 30th or whatever, right? November 18th. It's October 20th now. You got 3 weeks. Word. Then you go look at the guy's battles or his songs, and then you listen to the shit he said, and you start collecting data and info, and then you get dirt on them, and then you put it together in a 3-round piece written. But that being said, so it's like it's doing a research for 2 to 3 weeks on someone. But that being said, when you get to the stage, first of all, memorizing that is fucking, it's crazy. It's nerve-wracking. Respect to all battlers out there because it's nerve-wracking. But a lot of people also have freestyle rebuttals. And you can, the dope ones will have their shit prepared, but then they'll also use stuff from that particular night, like the color of the guy's jeans or his chain or something like that. And then so if you're a good freestyler too, and you can do the shit off the head, you can incorporate some of that plus your written stuff. So you can pepper in all these layers, and then your performance really gets crazy, So, but it's primarily it's a written battle league. That's what it is. So I did that, but I prefer the on beats freestyle off the head battles. So that's where I really came up and excelled in that shit. The improv shit was my stuff. Yeah.
No doubt, man. Because you're a freestyle artist as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's unreal, man. You've actually cleared up another misconception with me, or I don't know if this was just an issue that I had. You've kind of given me more respect for diss tracks, because in a sense, is a diss track not just a beefed up rap battle?
Pretty much. It's just recorded on a beat and in a studio, so you can engineered and make it sound really crisp and shit too. So it's really, like that's a good point. It's pretty much is just a beefed up live rap battle, but taped, so it can be doctored as much as possible. You know what I mean?
Well,
so,
I used to not have respect for diss tracks because I was like, how could you write a song and you're just like obsessed with this guy the entire time you're writing it, and then you're coming up with disses? But that's kind of the similar way that rap battles are handled, or how those beats are handled.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting, man. That's interesting. All right. Well, taking it back to 2012, you released a track called Dear Brother. This was my first track that I got to listen to of yours.
Crazy. Yeah. 2012. I think that's like 2010 song, 2010? But maybe you heard it in 2012. Yeah, I believe so, because it was on his mixtape that it was called Too Broke to Buy Beats. And I think I did that in like 2010. So
word, bro. And that's what I was going to bring up next. That word, too broke to buy beats.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of just like a chapter and a stage in life? That's I don't know, man. I was listening to your 2019 track called Together in Pieces, and one of your lines are "Living my dreams, millions of streams, killing the scene," and that's completely opposite of that "Too broke to buy beats" line.
Not really, because streams are. I mean, "Too broke to buy beats." I was just. It's a statement at the time. I didn't have the means to buy beats from producers that I respected. So I just went to YouTube or just fucking stole them and made mixtapes like people used to do in other people's beats. So I just did that. You know what I mean? And that's it. And then fast forward 10 years later or whatever, that's just, an accumulation of a decade later of working. Now I've been grinding and my dreams are coming true, and I'm, getting the streams that I worked hard for, from, like you said. From too broke to buy beats to fucking living my dreams and getting them streams, bro.
It's the contrast that I love, man, especially because you've got such a huge discography, man. So I'm sure there's going to be ties between like every tracks and contrast between a lot of the old and new stuff. Yeah, man. You've got a long running track history, and you don't really, was there ever a point in your like 10 years where you took like a solid break from music?
Nah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Nah,
it doesn't seem like it.
No, I need to do it. It's my therapy. It's my sanity, intact peace, man. If I don't do it, I'll die.
Word, bro. And is there any super old content of yours that is lacking the quality that you would want to kind of show the world that is junk today?
For sure, bro.
Is any of it available? Because all the stuff that I could find, man, is like really good quality for what I.
Yeah, and I did that. I fucking tailored it to like the stuff that is readily available is obviously the stuff that I've spent more time and professionally consider a piece of my discography. There's pieces of my discography that I will never even put, like shit that I used to do when I was 17, 16, 15. That's like, like I had albums, bro. I had 2 other groups, had 3 other albums. I'd ironed all this shit, but it's just not even available on the internet. It's floating around, mixtapes that whatever. But like, so the ones that are lacking in quality, they're not really available because I don't want that really to be out there. Maybe one day it'll be all packaged up as like.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah.
Whatever. But for now, the stuff that's available is the stuff that like, I put my stamp on. And even it's the shit like Too Broke to Buy Beats, that's not really available. That's some YouTube shit. Yeah. So if you fuck with me, you'll find that on YouTube. But that's like, I'm not even pushing that because it wasn't my music. So I don't own the rights to it. Never made money off it. But like, start getting into my first stuff, like my first out, like my Rap Better Party Harder with Hungry or Orange and Black with him, which are my first albums. Then Ian, I Am No One. Those are things that those are mine. I own the rights to it. Those are things where I was like, oh shit, labels are starting to hit me up, all that stuff. And I was starting to take myself like, I did 10 years of working on the craft, and then those records started dropping. And those are my official first debut joints. But even there, I've just gotten better lyrically, technically. My tone has changed, improved, whatever. Like and also the engineers I've been working with, they've been getting better. So like the drums are knocking more. So everything's just been evolving, getting better, like sonically and acoustically, everything is just better. You know what I mean? And it will continue to do so because technology changes every month. So it's like in 12 months from now, the album I drop then is going to be so much better sonically than something I drop today, just because it's just crazy how much progression there is constantly with technology.
No doubt. And we're going to take that quick break here, but I got one last question before we do is, in those first few years of you creating music and know that you didn't really own the shit, did you think at that time that those would be content that you left behind?
No, I don't think so, man. I just went full steam and just like, yo.
And it was what it was, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to do it for doing it. I don't think I was like, again, if I was thinking like that in a business sense, then I probably wouldn't have, I would have maybe taken a little more time to do those things. And like, but the thing is, I had to do those things to get to where I'm at now. So I don't regret any of the music I made, even though some of it's shit, but it's like, you gotta miss 10 shots to fucking, get the one that goes in. So
for sure, man. I always see the value in the growth being visible as well, man.
For sure. And my growth is visible, but some of the shit is just like the too broke to buy beats. That's fine. If you're a fan of mine, you go on YouTube, it's their word, but it's like, I can't sell it. So it's like those aren't mine. So I'm not trying to you know what I mean? But if you really want to tune in, you can. It's still there on YouTube or whatever. So
word. Okay. Well, we'll take that quick break, eh?
Word up.
Easy.
And we are going to listen to a track by Junk. This one is called Hold Up. Enjoy.
In this world, wars have been lost and empires destroyed through moments of weakness.
Yeah. Hey yo, incorrect depictions of wealth materializing children till their innocence melts. I'm guilty of it too, that's why I'm pissed at myself. I'll get it, big business push you to the things that they sell. That's the big corporate agenda, need to think for yourself. Ignoring pressure, learning lessons will position you well. The perfect message to his peasants is get rich or you'll fail. That's how they get you, you ain't special so you think of your else. That's not depression, it's oppression, it's a prison to sell. Them suppressing all your questions is a business itself. Industrious, laborious, triumphant and victorious. Hustle till your customers be comfortable and glorious. Illustrate reality, ain't coming for euphoria. I'm the one that's warning you, we're running with some warriors. You wanna be the illest of MCs, then report on something real and like them pictures on your screen. Sipping lean, flipping keys, this is just the industry. Simple to control us when their business is all imagery. Slinging cocoa isn't culture, man, that shit is weak. I get it if you do that shit just so you kids can eat. For record sales, that's the pitch, I'm in disbelief. Are we losing being human in this art? Doing music's therapeutic, so I use it through the dark. Phones in her pockets make us stupid and not smart, like the clothes that we're rocking with the jewelry and cars. That's some true shit, you can't be mad at that. Can't believe they say faggots still in battle rap. Fuck your shoulders or the white and fuck your avalanche. And fuck a snitch, it's not a game, it won't back a rat. You slang gay, that is brainless if you have a dad. Don't know what you're doing, then it's Vegas, you don't have a chance. Little homies need to change up on your habitat.
Hold up, tell me what we teaching to the youth, while we speaking to them without ever reaching for the truth.
Hold up,
cause all they see is slang cocaine, but a kilograms, copper gas, and gold chains.
it's fucked.
Tell me what we teaching to the youth, while we speaking to them without ever reaching for the truth.
Hold up,
cause all they see is Lambos, planes, and Brazzers from France and the Crackstone game.
wake up. Hey yo, I think these children need a leader. Instead of idiots sipping lean, cause that shit'll give you seizures. And I don't mean lean like that building is in Pisa. Man, it's lean's more mysterious than pyramids in Giza. Whatever happened to just twisting up a reefer, having a drink with a cohiba, or just sipping on tequila? I guess things change quicker than a cheetah. Kids going ape shit cause they be picturing they Caesar. Pitch stones, crack rockets for reeds. I'll call you white shoes cause you won't last long in the streets. The name Jump, I fuck with trap songs for the beats. I stand out like a pair of stand socks on your feet. But enough about me, the music is the savior. What it was until consuming made us humans be in danger. Glorifying guns, making stupid people famous. Selling drugs in the movies don't make it cooler than a glacier. To the youth watching, that's pollution in the cranium. All they need to do is go and get a mule and 40 acres. Work and don't go crazy like that shooter was in Vegas. Respect those close instead of feuding with the neighbors. Living in the moment while you're planning for the future. With the children should be told us why I rap like I'm their tutor. Understand it's not the triangle of Bermuda, so manage what I'm saying, get a handle on it soon. Hold up,
Tell me what we teaching to the youth, while we speaking to them without ever reaching for the truth.
hold up,
Cause all they see is slang cocaine, but a kilograms, copper gas, and gold chains.
it's fucked.
Tell me what we teaching to the youth, while we speaking to them without ever reaching for the truth.
Hold up,
Cause all they see is Lambos, planes, and Brazzers from France and the Crackstone game.
wake up.
What is up, everybody? I'm back with Junk. How's it going, brother?
We out here, bro.
We out here, my dude. And I know we've jumped around in terms of your history here, but we're covering roughly 15 years of content, and I don't fucking know. This is probably gonna be just over half an hour, but let's dive in, man. Let's dive in.
Michael Phelps.
2012. Was this the first music video that you guys released, Lifelines?
Yep. Yeah, that was the first music video. Actually, I did a music video before that. It was called Junk Radio. So that was my first music video I ever did, which is fucking hilarious. And that was for an album I dropped.
Can we find that?
Yes. Thing is, you can find it on my website. My name is junk.com, like next week. The album is actually going for $100 to $150. People are auctioning this album. I have like 80 copies left. It's getting crazy. But you can YouTube Junk Radio Soap. I was like, that was 2006, 2007. I did it here in Vancouver. That was the first video I did. But like, that was the first project I did. I mean, I was, so it's pretty fucking hilarious.
That's unreal, man.
Yeah. But yeah, the first one we did as Northwest Division, and first one we really did that. It was Lifelines who did that.
You guys just shot for the quality there, and you knew exactly what you wanted to see. And I'd say you hit the mark with it.
Yeah, Northwest Division, Lifelines. That was a dope. That was off an album that's not even available online. That was an album called Northwest Division. That was me, Catch, and Hungry when we were still a trio. Then the next project was Rap Better, Party Harder, RBPH, and that was just me and Hungry when we kind of transferred from like boom bap vibes to a little more modern, a little more, I'd say like a little more leaning towards the more melodic, trappy, double time stuff. Then he just became our manager and kind of just handling some business operations for us, our homie Catch. So that was his,
But the lyrical content in this earlier stuff, the problems, pains, struggles, issues, even like the pleasures that you and your crew communicates in these projects. Do you think they were like general signs of the times, or more related to the individuals and maybe in the areas of Vancouver that y'all played around in, or in BC, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, my homies, they're orphans and fucking crack babies.
Shit.
You know, my homies are just like born addicted to crack. Mothers are orphans, and mothers dying, and people, immigrants. And so we all kind of just like grew together as like, we came from a really kind of shitty, troubled, and like very, for lack of a better term, fucked up kind of upbringings type. So we clicked up, and it just made sense. It was that pain through struggle. And we still have that now kind of thing. It's like, man, we come from like dirt, but, and it would be hard to overcome this type of shit. And then, so we talk about those trouble, and now here we are 10 years later, and everyone's doing well, making money and opening businesses, and got ventures going, still doing music, blah, blah, blah. So, but yeah, so it was a sign of, like, let's get that childhood kind of trauma and struggle out the way and show people you can overcome this shit. So it was always uplifting stuff peppered in with like nostalgic, like upbringing type of music,
Yeah, man. Yeah. And that's one of the dope parallels I'm bringing here, is that we were talking about that book you're reading. Did you say Democracy in Chains?
Democracy in Chains. It's an intense read, but I fuck with it.
Just kind of relating in between, like this is 2012, or when you're first hitting these projects with NWD, and you're talking about your lyrical content is about these like struggles and all this shit you guys grew up around, and then coming to a point where you're still having that lyrical content where you're like, this world is fucked, or the stuff that you're consuming and the content of the lyrical content that you're putting out is still about that. It hasn't really changed much in terms of like the problems of the world, right?
For sure. Sometimes they're worse. So I mean, everything is, I don't know. Oh, that's a long conversation. Or
I guess that is, man.
It's a long conversation, but yeah, the world, it's just been more controlled, and more freedoms being taken away all the time. So we're forced into tougher positions all the time, and everything transfer, with the transfer of wealth, with the digital transfer of wealth, this fucking sinister digital transfer of wealth, like the rich really are going to get richer, middle class is going. So that's why I think making music that is real and raw is going to just keep resonating and getting bigger and more powerful, because people are just going to be struggling more and more. Like, you know what I mean? The 1%ers are really controlling everything. And so it's up to the artist. But the thing is, they're trying to silence art too. Like every time you speak on something for real, they're trying to silence it. So it's key to do that. It's imperative to fucking make art that stands for something. But I don't think that type of dialogue that I have is gonna ever go away, because I just come from that and I see it happening. I'm always gonna speak on it. You know what I mean? It needs to be said. It needs to be out there. Like, too much trash out there. Too much consumption of fucking corporate greed is out there in music nowadays, especially in rap. So fuck that.
Word, bro. And do you think for the general population or the community of underground artists, that this like resistance to the truth and to actually putting out art that has meaningful impact, do you think that's kind of, it's caused obviously stunts in our growth in the community, and as well as in income? Do you think that's going to change anytime soon, or do you think there's anything that the community can do to kind of like combat that, other than kind of keep on putting out music?
Well, I think NFTs, man, like, there's pros and cons to everything. The NFTs, and getting your own social media platforms, and getting your releasing shit on platforms that aren't just Spotify and Google and, you know, Apple and stuff like that, but like NFTs and just doing things your way, staying independent. And the NFTs, trust me, that's going to be like a revolutionary thing. It already is. So crypto and NFTs, that combined force is going to give, I think, more power to artists in the really super near future, which like, yeah, I'm looking into developing a very cool NFT thing myself. But like, it just, you know, you can make an album, put it out, sell it for $500, keep 20% of it 10 years forever. And then in 10 years, it's sold for 25, 30, 40, 100K, who knows? And you get to keep 25% of that. So it's kind of like, it just builds a relationship between the purchaser / fan and the artist. So I think some power can be transferred back to the artist, but I don't know, man. It's hard. It's a hard world, but I just think there's a need for it. So I'm always going to be around until whether it's rap or maybe I start painting or wherever, I don't know, but
it's just kind of the smart next moves to make.
Yeah, you gotta stay on board with what's popping and trending out there to use those trends to keep your voice alive. You know what I mean? Like, just because like I'm not gonna go do a weird TikTok dance just because it's trending, but I'm gonna figure out how to do TikTok. By the way, you can follow me on TikTok. My name is Junk, just like all my other platforms. But I think it's knowing what's out there new and bubbling and buzzing and knowing how to take it and use it and keep your integrity and use it while keeping your integrity is key, you know?
Yeah. And it doesn't really matter what stage of artistry you're at or how popping you are. It's just something that everyone should kind of get on board with.
Sure.
Agreed, man. Agreed. Let's talk about your transition. So it was around 2016, 2017 that you got signed to Stealth Bomb Records with Snack the River.
Yeah, 2016, yeah.
2016, yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's when you and NWD were also kind of, you guys have a heavy track record at this point. And I think it's amazing to learn that you're still, because I guess this just clears up my misconception with like labels and shit like that. And you able to say that you're still an independent artist as well. Do you think people should approach kind of the same style and tactics that you've gone through in order to approach whatever success means for them? Or do you think it's the way that you've gone through your process is kind of just like, it was just something that happened through the times that they were happening? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's definitely a process that happened during the times they were happening. But also I think I can't really give tips like, again,
would you say that it's a good map for others to follow? I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Just try to keep your independence and try to just have as much freedom as possible. So, but again, everyone's on a different journey. Like I make the art that I make. So maybe the journey I'm on seems good, but if I went on a different one, it would have been better. So it's like, what tips can I give? Everyone makes different music. Everyone's a different individual and human. So you know what I mean? There's no point like fucking, like trying to decipher whether if I did this or that, or if you did this or that is better. But all I know is do you, be you, stay really persistent at it, study the history of it, study your craft, put in your 10,000 plus hours, work hard, and just be humble and be friendly, man. And that will take you at least to a level where maybe you're not going to blow up, but you'll be respected, and respect has longevity. So just do that, man. That's all I can say.
That's it, man. And were there any in your earlier days with NWD or with Stealth Bomb Records, any like problems that you kind of faced that you know now, had I known this in the past, I would have been able to fucking circumvent this easily?
Not at all. Not at all. Because 2015, like again, he had his son, like, you know, he's growing up, so he wanted to be around for his dad or for his son. So then I was like, all right, well, if you're going to do this, right? Well, he turned down some tours, opportunities we had touring.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, man, well, I can't be turning these down because like, I don't have a son. I don't have a family. So, I want to do this. Right. So he's like, yeah, no worries. So I went and wrote and recorded a solo album, which was Ian, I Am No One, and then chopped it around. The first person that heard it was Snack. And he's like, I'm signing you. So,
hey,
and that was it. And it kind of worked out perfect. I was like, well, bro, I got signed to Stealth Bomb Records and Snack, and I'm going to tour in Europe. And that was it. And then I just transferred into I've only been pushing the Junk brand since 2016. Like as a solo artist, everything else has always been with groups or like battling or this and that. Like obviously it all contributes to my brand, but it's always been Northwest Division or another group I had before way back in the day, Carpe Diem or this or that, never really just going out there doing shit on my own. So I've only been doing it for 5 years really as an individual, you know what I mean? But the timing was perfect. He's like, all right, I'm not going to tour. I'm going to take a step back from rap. I want to be there for my son, blah, 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 and focus on my job. And I said, all right, well, I'm going to continue on. Made an album, got signed immediately, started touring Europe, and the rest is history. I haven't stopped since then. Just been going.
Dope. So would you say this being signed to Stealth Bomb Records was sort of like a springboard for your platform, or was it just kind of like a step on the way? Yeah, it was. Did you have any reservations or hesitations to it?
No, I was stoked. I mean, look at Snack and his platform, and his affiliation with Stomp Down, and helped co-create that whole movement and shit. So touring, obviously, I got a lot of his fans trickling in, checking me out. And obviously touring when he plays for 600, 700, 800 to 1,000 people every night from here to Europe. And then you get to go on right before him. You get those fans too when you're killing it and you're dope. And they like you too, right? So it's like, that was obviously a huge springboard for me for sure. And it's got me to where I am now, 100%. Absolutely.
Let's talk about that, man. Where you are now, your recent album, Lions Eat Goats, dude, hits #1 rap album on Canadian charts. How big of a fuck yeah was this? How big of a
big one, bro. I needed it. I had a rough year, just everyone, and
just COVID.
Just like everyone. Well, just COVID, this personal shit. You know what I mean? That whatever. I don't need to discuss, but it's been a rough year, so it was a nice breath of fresh air to have that go #1. Just like a lot of work, a lot of pain in the last 12 months. So it was nice to. It was nice to have that. It was a breath of fresh air for sure. And so definitely I'd put that up there with career accolades for sure. Get that #1 record.
For sure, man. No doubt. Yep. And so was this like a huge surprise, or were you kind of just like, all right, it's paid off? Like that blood, sweat, and tears is worth it.
Well, I mean, it wasn't at the same time. I mean, to be #1 is obviously a surprise. Like I wasn't expecting to, nudge out Yellow Wolf and Caskey's and Eminem's new records, which was cool. But
the potential that it has, man.
Yeah, but Canada's small too, right? So it's to get into the top 5 in Canada is a lot easier than to get into the top 5 if you're an American rapper trying to chart, because there's 1 billion rappers in Canada. How many is there? You know what I mean? It's 33 million people versus 450 million in the States. So it's it's not like I wasn't stoked or anything, but it's it's a nice accolade, but I'm not gonna be like, I've made it now. Like I just keep going. You know what I mean? Sure. Oh, that was great. I had my 5 days of happiness there, and still happy, always will be, but I'm not going to be not going to rub that shit in people's faces and claim like I'm some gift of God or something, So
an accolade is what it is, man. An accolade to the career.
Yeah, it's an accolade added to the trophy case, and then just keep going and try to get another one.
Man, I love it. I love it.
Thing is that the thing that bums me out is that we couldn't tour it so far because when you're like, yo, we got the #1 rap album of the country. Yeah. The tour is live. Come see us. Damn, bro. That you're filling out venues like that. So that's a bummer, but it is what it is.
Have you guys been able to bridge the gap at all? Like, what is the plan to kind of make up for that lacking? Is there?
Well, we'll tour the album. No, it's just putting out content, man. Content. Shooting videos, remixes, just being live online. But I like do live performances. So I'm just in the studio making singles, writing albums, putting out projects. And then when most people are vaccinated and things are kind of back to normal, I'll have a lot of material to tour, and it'll be, I think there'll be a flood of people. It's almost going to be shitty because every artist, not just rap, is going to want to tour. And so it's going to be you're going to be fighting for fucking, who gets to play when and where, because everyone wants to
fighting for people's time.
And so many venues have shut down too permanently. So it's going to be oh man, it's going to be it's going to be tricky, but I have faith. I've built a solid reputation on having a really good live performance. And, so I think the people that I've already worked with for the last few years, they want me back, and they're just, so I'm going to be blessed, I'm sure, but it'll be tricky.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it, homie. And so this project, Lions Eat Goats, it's your, you and Young Stitch worked on this album together, right? It's
Yeah, well, we did it. I mean, he was in Toronto, I was in Vancouver, so we did it all over the internet through voice memos and notes over our iPhones back and forth. And, yo, you do this verse first, and I'll come in after. Okay, do 8 bars here, but just all back and forth, voice memo, FaceTimes, and notes. And then, which is crazy because it was put together so cohesively. But that was because of
10 years of history.
Well, that too, craft and hours and dedication, persistence, like I said, but mostly due to Jamie Hughes, our audio engineer here in Vancouver, who does everything for me. Yeah. He's crazy. He pieced it all together and made it sound just effortless and cohesive, but he put a lot of work into that. So that was, but Lions Eat Goats is crazy, bro. That album's fucking insane.
Dude, it's amazing. And so how'd you come together working with Young Stitch on this project, just the two of you, when I know you were saying earlier 10 years ago, you guys had history in the battle scene? what makes you come together 10 years later and create a project?
Well, yeah. So me and Hungry, we were supposed to battle him in Payday in a 2-on-2 here in Vancouver.
Yeah.
3-4 days before, they didn't come. They didn't show up. They said, "Oh, we can't make it."
No
and
way.
Then fast forward 10 years later, somewhere around there, I seen some Instagram reel or clip of something of Stitch rapping. It was some remix or something that he did.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, man. I was like, yeah, I remember this name, Stitch. I was supposed to battle him. I hit him up. I'm like, bro, you're snapping. This shit's crazy that you're doing right now. He's like, oh, thanks, bro. And we chopped it up. Remember, we used to have to battle back in the day. We laughed about it. It's all good. And then he won the BET Freestyle Friday. He became the champion like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago or something. Seeing that. So we just kept in touch. And I was like, bro, we got to cook something. So I got a beat, got the beat together, got the song together, the whole song together, because I just left the open verse for Stitch, sent it to him. And I'm like, you fucking with this vibe? And he's like, oh shit, you smashed this. Sent me the verse back a few days later. And boom, that was No Ragu, which was like 2019 Canadian underground. I think that was one of the hardest joints to come out of Canada in the rap scene.
Yeah.
So that, and then when I went on tour, I never met him to this point. And then when I went on tour that summer with Hungry I did an Ontario run. He opened up for me in Toronto on the Toronto show, but in the daytime, we went and shot the video in Toronto. So we got banged out the video, did a show, and that was the first time we met. And then we put that out, and that kind of became classic. And then me and him both we were both like, man, we've never been tagged so many times by others. Like, yo, these guys need to make more music together. The song was so lit. So it was kind of like, and then I was like, yo, because Snack, and then while this was happening, Snack was like, yo, Junk, like, kind of want you back on the label. I'm doing a whole new roster, revamping the team 2.0, Stealth Bomb, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, word. And I'm like, yo, you should sign this guy, Young Stitch, too. He's a beast. And then Snack looked into him and blah, blah, blah. And then so I kind of put the bug in Snack's ear about Stitch. And then he was like, yo, this guy is a beast. And then he's like, hey, I'm going to sign you and Hungry and Junk, too. And then me and Stitch are like, all right, well, since we're going to be officially on this label together, let's make this album. And then we just made it happen. And he came out here last November. We shot 3 videos, did a couple other joints in the studio, blah, blah, blah. Hung out for like 6 days, shot 4 videos, did 3 more songs, remixes, blah, blah, blah. And then he flew back. So I've only met Stitch for like 5 days, really. And we got 12 songs out, 5 videos, a remix video, and got more shit coming. So kind of, yeah. And that kind of all led up to this point. It was just like easy, man. He's the beast from the East. And, like we're kind of like similar levels. I'm in the West, he's in the East. So it was dope to bridge those gaps and like get him introduced into the West and then, get me more plugged into the East. That was kind of like a calculated move. And yeah, man.
Do you think this will be probably one of my last questions because we're going into overtime again, but do you think it's important to establish that base in Canada or establish the industry in Canada a bit more before you try and go global?
Well, I mean, I got a nice little following in Europe because I am European, got a lot of family and friends there. And I did a lot of touring out there. And I was like, I've been in front of a lot of eyes out in Europe, which is great. And I speak English, Italian, and German. And I rap in those languages when I'm in those like native countries too. Dude. So it's like, so it was like, it's like a wild card. It's like, oh shit, he's from here. He's one of us. So like, I do have a nice little fan base out in Europe. I'm not going to lie, but thanks to Snack, obviously, but definitely establishing, like, if you're from Vancouver, like I'll say this, I'm representing Vancouver. So I won a lot of rap battles here. You know what I mean? Freestyle champion, all this stuff. So you're getting love from your peers, from the other rappers around, like, okay, this guy's the real deal. This guy's bodied people. He's got championships and he's won a lot of competitions here. Cool. Then you start winning competitions abroad and elsewhere in other countries, other cities, and you're starting to get the love and the credibility. Like, hey, this guy is a real MC. He's winning competitions. That's what you do to break your bones. You know what I mean? To get your credibility.
Check. Yeah.
Did that. Then you started touring. Then you start touring. Then you start, getting to a bigger audience. Then you start going to Calgary and Edmonton and West now. Not just Vancouver, but like the whole West Coast of Canada. So the Calgary and Edmontons and Red Deers and Lethbridges and Vancouver and Victorias and all that shit. Then you start bridging out, like I said, then you go to Toronto and Montreal and you did all that. So it's good to just like expand from where you are in like a circular, motion, just out further and further and just keep expanding. I think you just build a solid concrete base. Cause then if the people that are like in the next town look back on the other town, like people from Calgary check, oh, what's he done in Vancouver? Oh shit. He's a freestyle champion. He's done this. He's done that. He's opened tons of shows. He's got 2 groups. He's got this word. Now I'm in Calgary. You meet me, I kill the show, you hang out with me after, you're humble, you're like, man, this guy's a nice dude, he's got cool merch, his set was nuts, he's cool with everybody. Boom. That's how you're building, you know, like grassroots, really organic type of stuff. So I think it's good to just like focus on the city and then just slowly just build something concrete and then keep going out further and further and further. So that's kind of, that was like, I mean, I've been to Toronto lots, you know what I mean? And I've done shows, I got love, blah, blah, blah. But like teaming up with someone who's local there, who's respected by everyone and revered, that was like a really key move, you know, and for Stitch too, vice versa out here. So I think it was just like perfect unison and that album. So yeah, bridged a gap, big gap that we needed, you know, a little void.
That's amazing. I love that. What I'm kind of seeing here, kind of noting down myself, is that it's not really a plan that has all the details kind of like cut and dry, but there is a solid strategy to everything, and you've kind of got it boiled down to a science almost.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, science fails sometimes, but I mean,
science just proves things wrong. Yeah, I feel you. That's word, man. Well, we are running into overtime, bro. Is there anything that you want to say on the sign out?
Follow me on all social media platforms. My name is Junk. Yeah. That's it. At My Name is Junk everywhere. You know, Instagram, fucking YouTube, all that stuff, TikTok. Just follow me up and stream the albums. You know, Junk on Spotify or Amazon or Apple and all that stuff. Streams really help. And, you know, dropping comments, sharing and liking is a huge thing for independent artists, you know, because the more you share, it goes to your little fan base, yada, 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 you know, the rest. But that's it. And if you like what you heard today and you're interested in the music and want to cop a piece of limited edition merch or any of my stuff, or there's a huge bio and more in-depth stuff and all listings of everything needed to know on me, just go to mynameisjunk.com. That's my official website. You can find out everything about me there. So word up.
Word up, bro. And that's how it's done. Thank you so much for joining me today, Junk. I really appreciate it, brother.
Thank you so much, man, for having me. I appreciate that, bro.
Of course, man. All right. You take care, eh?
Much love.
Peace.
Peace.
I hope you enjoyed that interview with Junk. If you want to connect on his socials, learn a little bit more about him, head to www.reevolvemedia.com/junk. And to end the podcast, we're going to listen to his track titled Together in Pieces, featuring Omar Khan. Enjoy and take care.
The pursuit of peace is not as dramatic as the pursuit of war. Our problems are man-made, therefore they can be solved by man. No problem of human destiny is beyond human beings. Man's reason and spirit have often solved the seemingly unsolvable, and we believe they can do it again.